It's better known for its urban amenities, but New York City is surrounded by water, and its beaches are some of the best in the world. Copyright Ryan McVeigh. Getty Images. From the pop appeal of Coney Island to the high-key glamour of the Hamptons, New York City beaches offer a different kind of seaside experience. Whether you're looking for surf, sand, scene, or all of the above, you're sure to find a spot to while away those hot summer days. Coney Island. Once a seaside escape for the city's moneyed elite, Coney Island was developed as a resort in the 1800s, and by the turn of the century, its amusement park attractions were drawing crowds from all 5 boroughs. Today, its South Brooklyn sand and surf aren't necessarily the cleanest, watch out for broken glass and other detritus, but its boardwalk is hard to beat for people watching, especially if you manage to snag a table outside at Ruby's, where the beers are cheap and cold and the Little Nick clams are too. Steps away from the beach, Luna Park has rides, games, and more. Don't skip the Cyclone, a wooden roller coaster dating to 1927 that's a New York City landmark. For a rainy day option or a break from the sun, the nearby Coney Island Museum offers an overview of the neighborhood's storied history. Brighton Beach. A quick stroll down the boardwalk to Coney Island's east, Brighton Beach is a bit more low-key than its rowdier neighbor, with fewer day trippers and more locals socializing, exercising, and simply enjoying the elements. Known as Little Odessa, the area is famous for its Russian and Ukrainian restaurants, many of which are located off the beach and under the elevated train on Brighton Beach Avenue, making for a convenient, and satisfying, stop after the day in the sun. Jacob Riis Park Beach. On the Rockaway Peninsula between Jamaica Bay and the Atlantic Ocean, Jacob Riis Park is home to a popular strip of sand nicknamed the People's Beach, and it lives up to its reputation, welcoming tens of thousands of sunbathers, often topless, during the summer months. Part of Gateway National Recreation Area, a sprawling, 27,000-acre park covering parts of New Jersey as well as Queens, Brooklyn, and Staten Island. This historic LGBTIQ+ site has a restored Art Deco bathhouse dating to the 1930s, a pitch and putt golf course, and concessions galore. Think frozen guava margaritas, key lime piña coladas, lobster rolls, and fried clams, from the uber-popular Riis Park Beach Bazaar. Fort Tilden Beach. Most of New York City's beaches are easily accessible via public transit, but not Fort Tilden. Getting to the former military site from Manhattan, Brooklyn, or Queens requires a lengthy excursion by train, bus, and/or water taxi, depending on your point of departure, so you're better off jumping in the car, or even better, on your bike, to make the trek. Note that if you choose to drive, you'll have to park nearby at Jacob Riis and walk over, so pack accordingly. Rest assured, though, once you reach the shore, transportation hassles will be the furthest thing from your mind. Also part of Gateway National Recreation Area, Fort Tilden benefits from its remote environs, with a relatively quiet beach unspoiled by massive crowds and complications. Of course, such simplicity comes at a cost, and you won't find amenities like snack bars, restrooms, or even lifeguards here. For all that and more, opt for Jacob Riis. But the water feels cleaner and the sand is unsullied, making it well worth the trip. Rockaway Beach. The Ramones put it on the map back in the 70s, and over the years, Rockaway Beach has maintained its reputation as a super summertime spot with great waves, good eats, and a pleasantly sandy stretch of shore. The Queens Stalwart hosts the city's only sanctioned surfing beaches, one between Beach 67th and 69th Streets and the other between 87th and 92nd. Newbies can take lessons from local surf school and experienced wave riders can rent boards and gear from a handful of shops nearby. For refreshments, hit the concession stands at 87th, 96th, and 106th, or venture off the boardwalk and head for Talkaway Beach, a seasonal setup at Rockaway Beach Surf Club slinging fish tacos that are worth the subway ride alone. Orchard Beach. Dubbed the Riviera of New York, when it opened in the 1930s, Orchard Beach is the only beach in the Bronx, and it remains a hotspot to this day. Don't expect to find peace and quiet here. Between the playgrounds and the snack bars, the promenade with restaurants and retail, and dozens of basketball, volleyball, and handball courts, the 1.1-mile-long beach is a go-to destination all summer long. The waves are gentle, thanks to its perch on the Long Island Sound, and the sand is accessible, with beach mats and 2 sand-friendly wheelchairs available upon request. Long Beach, located off the south shore of Long Island, smack dab in the middle of the barrier island that gives it its name, Long Beach is less than an hour from Manhattan via the Long Island Railroad. But you'd hardly know it once you arrive. Considering its pristine sands and surf-worthy swells, the town's Ocean Beach Park could be half a world away, with only the crowds to hint otherwise. The 3.5-mile beach is one of the island's best, and it's tailor-made for families, with multiple playgrounds for the little ones and loads of activities for the older ones too, including surf lessons, bike rentals, and a 2.25-mile boardwalk to explore. Food carts and concession stands selling burgers and ice cream abound, while Shoregasburg, an offshoot of Brooklyn fave Smorgasburg, has vendors hawking tacos, cubanos, acai bowls, and more. Fire Island, accessible only by ferry, east of Jones Beach, the car-free Fire Island is a welcome change of pace from the gridlock common on the rest of Long Island. A boat will take you directly to the 32-mile barrier island, making stops at a number of destinations. If it's your first visit, get off at Ocean Beach, a quaint village with postcard-ready storefronts and restaurants, for easy entry into island life. Whether you're vacationing for Pride or seeking out LGBTIQ+ communities year-round, Cherry Grove and the Pines are where you want to be. For house shares, bars, and a thriving pickup scene, head to Kismet, and for a slower, family vibe, check out Saltaire. Westhampton Beach. The towns of Long Island's South Fork are better known as the Hamptons, and while they're perhaps most familiar for their A-list denizens, the various communities have plenty to offer aside from celebrity sightings. Located across Moriches Inlet from the eastern tip of Fire Island, Westhampton Beach has drawn throngs of sunseekers for decades, especially in recent years, when it pulled those interested in a laid-back family-friendly experience rather than a 24/7 party scene. Call it a return to its roots. An upscale resort community dating to the late 1920s, Westhampton served as Club Central for a decade or two before welcoming back its key demographic. Dune Road is the main drag, with eye-candy-style mansions as well as rental properties with private beach access, and picturesque Main Street, the target of a massive revitalization project just a few years ago, has restaurants, boutiques, and more. Rogers Beach is the town's most popular permit, and Copsogue Beach County Park is one of its most lauded. A 296-acre barrier beach a stone's throw from Fire Island, it boasts powdery white sand beaches and stunning sunset views. Visit in late summer to catch the outdoor juried art show on Main Street, get your culture fix year-round at the Westhampton Beach Performing Arts Center, or layer up and head to Copsogue for a wintertime seal walk, a guided excursion led by a marine mammal expert from the Coastal Research and Education Society of Long Island. Southampton, 30-some miles to east, and 90-some miles from Manhattan, the beautiful beaches of Southampton attract a Tony crowd, with celebrities like Brooke Shields, Calvin Klein, and Kelly Ripa and Mark Consuelos counted among the neighbors. A regular on Dr. Beach's annual list of America's best, Cooper's Beach is on par with its ritzy surroundings, offering fine white quartz sand underfoot and views of extravagant historic mansions in the distance. Less than half a mile to the west, Halsey Neck Beach is dog-friendly and quiet, while 3/4 of a mile to the east, Kreider Beach is a hit with the surf crowd. Neither has bathrooms, so plan your breaks accordingly. To rough it even further, try saltwater fishing and camping at Shinnecock East County Park, where the wide sandy beach gets packed in peak season with people and 4x4s alike. Yes, off-roading is allowed here with the proper permit. Sagaponack, one of the country's most expensive zip codes, and the most expensive on the East Coast, Sagaponack is a tiny community with just 300-some permanent residents and 1,000 or so who live there part-time. But what residents they are! Big names from Billy Joel to Drew Barrymore to Jimmy Fallon have purchased property in the vicinity at one time or another. In case you're thinking about joining their ranks, median prices for home sales hovered around $3.9 million in 2020, for reference. Sag Main is the village's public beach, a clean, wide shoreline with lifeguards, concessions, bathrooms, and shower facilities, good for families, but the parking lot fills up fast, so get there early if you're visiting during the summer months. Before a day out, stock up on provisions on Main Street, prepared food from loaves and fishes, perhaps, and produce from the local farmers market, and afterward, pencil in a stop at Wolfer Estates wine stand. A drive-through outpost of the well-regarded winery, it offers outdoor seating with views of the vineyard, the perfect setting for sipping a sparkling rosé as you watch the sun sink below the horizon. East Hampton, an epicenter of celebrity culture in the Hamptons, the village of East Hampton is one of the South Fork's most prestigious communities, and it has the amenities to match its five-star reputation. From luxe accommodations to upscale restaurants and clubs to outlets for arts and culture, like the former home and studios of Jackson Pollock and Lee Krasner, and exhibits, screenings, and performances at Guildhall, there's no lack of entertainment to be had away from the water. But ultimately, beaches are the name of the game, and those don't disappoint either. Of the 5 public beaches operated by the village, Main Beach is by far the most popular, with quality concessions, gorgeous sand, and lifeguards on duty, plus big crowds, especially on the weekends. It's a short walk from the center of town, but if you're lugging too much gear to hoof it, try hitching a ride via Circuit, a free electric shuttle service that's bookable by app. Things are more casual at 2 Mile Hollow, a longtime gay beach that also draws a crowd. To hit the surf, try Georgica or Wyborg. Amagansett, a small hamlet with humble roots in the fishing, whaling, and farming industries, Amagansett is less flashy than other parts of the Hamptons, but no less star-studded, with A-listers like Paul McCartney, Gwyneth Paltrow, and Robert Downey Jr. occasionally spotted around town. Its 2 private golf clubs draw a ritzy crowd, and its main street is revitalized and flourishing, its well-preserved buildings now occupied by upscale restaurants and shops. To see and be seen, or to simply spend a day out with the fam, head for the uber-popular Atlantic Beach, where the atmosphere can be rowdy but not necessarily over the top. Umbrellas and beach chairs are available to rent, and the Beach Hut concession stand is a local favorite for burgers, hot dogs, lobster rolls, and more. The beach at Indian Wells also draws a crowd. Between the 2 beaches, just steps from the ocean, there are 2 nature preserves, the Atlantic Double Dunes Preserve and the Amagansett National Wildlife Refuge, both of which protect the fragile shoreline habitat. Piping plovers and terns nest here, so pack your binoculars for birdwatching and check for closures before you head out. Access can be restricted seasonally to protect the nesting birds. Montauk, once a sleepy fishing community at the easternmost point of Long Island, now home to artists, surfers, and creative types of all stripes, Montauk tends to be like the rest of the Hamptons, party central, in the peak summer months, though it remains charmingly low-key in the off-season. Less than 2 miles from the LIRR terminus is the family-oriented Kirk Park Beach, with public restrooms and lifeguards on duty. To mingle with the surf crowd, stake out some space on the sand at Ditch Plains, just east of the village proper. One of New York's top 10 state parks for biodiversity, Hither Hills is less populated than the beaches in town, and you can book a campsite and stay overnight if you're so inclined. For an even more remote oceanfront experience, strap on your walking shoes and head for the Amsterdam Beach Preserve, where a gentle, wooded loop leads up to bluffs with ocean views and down to a rocky beach far away from the masses. Just watch out for ticks.